Hey, Brick Maniacs, welcome to another Thursday Sit Rep. We're gearing up for World War Brick. I'm here on the floor surrounded by a bunch of fun boxes and stuff. We got a full summer of events coming up, so we'll get to a little bit more of that in a minute. But we also have two new kits on pre-order. So we have a 3-in-1 Seawolf class submarine pre-order, as well as the Normandy Pak 40 bunker. That's designed by Andreas. He'll be here with a check-in. Otherwise, we'll have Dan and Slam talking a little bit more about that submarine. Then we've got a World War I German stormtrooper that me and Amanda will go over. And then we'll also go through a rundown of the restocks arriving on Monday. But without further ado, let's get to the Thursday Sit Rep.
I am Batman. Brick Maniacs, welcome back to another Thursday Sit Rep. I'm Slam.
I'm Dan.
And we are back with, well, you're back in town.
Of course.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome back from Florida. And you've
I
brought with
survived
you
another 3 weeks of Florida. No gators got me this time.
Yeah, better luck next time, Florida.
Florida Dan 1, Gators 0.
Snakes, hurricanes. Yeah. Well, you came back and the temperature dropped here 30, 40 degrees.
Yeah, I brought the weather. Yeah, it's going to be a blizzard here this week. Good, perfect time to stay at home and play with little plastic bricks, isn't it?
Absolutely. Except we're going to Omaha.
We're going to Omaha. So, yeah. So by the time you see this, we will be either in Omaha or on the way to Omaha. I think we'll be in Omaha. I don't know. Somewhere.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But you've brought with you an awesome little build.
Little. I like how you say little.
It's little because of the scale.
It's kind of small. It's the scale is off of my normal territory, but this little thing. Let's just do this.
Swing reveal.
Yes, this is the USS Jimmy Carter. So it is I guess it's considered a special class of submarine because it's an attack submarine that has this special multi-mission platform, this big extra long section, which is why this thing is so huge. For special missions, spy missions, maybe, I don't know, secret stuff we can't talk about, and I don't even want to know about. So,
what kind of trouble do submarines get up to when they're down there? Who knows?
Somebody knows, but they're not telling.
What year was this submarine commissioned?
This is like early 2000s. So
really?
the Seawolf class, I think, is like a post-war or a Cold War design. It's supposed to be like the next generation attack submarine.
Okay.
So the Seawolf, was SSN 21 was the first, the lead ship. That came out like designed in the 90s, or late 80s, early 90s. That came out, and then the Cold War ended. While this thing was this planned, projected 20-something of these Seawolf class submarines killed the program. Super expensive, kind of overkill for what the actual geopolitical threat at the time was. So
they planned to build 20 of them and are building 3?
They built 3.
Yep.
And the rest hadn't been started yet. They were they were about to do a crash program to build all these things to replace the aging fleet of Los Angeles class submarines. Okay. The last one of the class, they're like, hey, wait a minute, we want to replace our previous special mission submarine. Why not use a Seawolf design as the vehicle to do it? So the Jimmy Carter was born out of this. Jimmy Carter famously being the only American president to be in the submarine service. He was an officer on a nuclear submarine back in the day. So I don't know if anybody knew that, but
that's super cool. There's
a huge tradition of naval veterans being president. You have, Kennedy. I mean, this is just in recent terms. Kennedy, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, George H.W. Bush.
Yep.
World War II veteran. So yeah, this is it fits right in with the Navy, and it's very unusual for the Navy to name a submarine after a living person, let alone a living president. But this is the exception. So.
Okay. It's a really great model. For my part, I haven't designed that many prints for it. I mean, there's not a lot going on the outside of a sub.
It's a pretty plain tube.
Correct. Yes.
So we didn't do all the markings. I mean.
Yep. We have done the projection markings down the side. So that's like how many feet below the surface it's projecting.
Right. There's a depth gauge kind of on each couple sets up here in this half, and one on the.
Yep, both sides of the tail.
What, the tail? We've been calling it. I call it all kinds of the propulsion section, the whatever, dive planes, whatever you. Yeah, there's the rudders.
Rudders.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Okay. So, but it's So this is the Jimmy Carter, but we've also provided markings for the other two subs in the class.
Right. So the Seawolf, SSN 21 being the first, 22 being USS Connecticut, which is probably has to do with the name of the state that these were built in.
Ah, okay.
So the famous, shipyards in Groton, Connecticut, and the submarine bases and stuff. So I'm certain that has to do with the fact that Connecticut would be the second one of the series, and then the Carter being the third. These are significantly larger than the Los Angeles class. It's almost, submarines. The United States submarines has two classes, two types of submarine: ballistic missile, that carry the Trident missiles, and then the attack submarines. This is like an attack submarine on steroids, so it's almost as big as a Ohio class ballistic missile submarine. So, and after this was done, they actually switched back to making smaller. The Virginia class is more of a throwback to the older Los Angeles, cheaper, smaller, more in line with the needs of the modern Navy. So.
Okay, super cool. But you get nameplates for all three, and then you need to convert it to go from Jimmy Carter length back to Seawolf or Connecticut length.
This is exceptional. I'll just do this while I'm over here. This isn't that hard. You have to remove like 6 pieces to get this thing apart. Hopefully my fingernails are strong enough to get these off. Hey, look at that. Hey, so far so good. So let's just you pull that one out. You do it.
There we go.
Pull that section off. Let me get this one off. And then there you go. You can't go wrong. You can't do it the wrong way. It only works one way. So you have the Seawolf or the Connecticut. So there'll be different nameplates. You get 3 nameplates. You'll get 1 sailor, but the sailor will have 3 different hats. And then you actually have different, Amanda made different faces for each one. So there's 3 different like skin tones.
Excellent.
So, and they're sort of gender neutral, but it is an officer as a lieutenant that you get. So it's the first time we've done a figure in a naval work uniform, modern naval work uniform. So
what were they calling that?
The poopy suit. Yeah, it's a fireproof suit, one-piece suit, a onesie for the Navy. So I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying it, but yeah, that is what it is. It's a flame retardant suit. Protective gear that the sailors wear at sea, and especially inside of compartments where there's lots of potential hazards in there.
Okay.
So,
it's a super great model. This came together really, really quick. It's much smaller than the last sub we built together.
It is not minifig scale. It is about 1/5 of minifig scale.
Okay.
So if our normal scale is 1/35 scale, this is about 1/5 the size of that. So.
1/70th.
1 to 175, 1 to 1. It's 1 to 170, 175, depending on which measurement you're measuring from.
Love doing math on that.
So typically
TV.
1 to 350 is like battleship scale. That's like the Bismarck or something like that.
Right,
so
right.
It's
We've
about
done a
half.
number of those ships.
Yeah, so it's double that size.
Cool.
But 120,
I just noticed we have a stand for the minifig right here.
Yeah, it's built in. That's optional. You don't have to display the minifig on the stand.
Cool.
It's kind of, the stand is not all that exciting, but you do have these rubber pads that keep
I like that.
keep the sub from rolling over on you.
Just a little bit of friction.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
This is not limited edition in the sense that we're only going to make one batch and be done. We'll make this for whatever the needs are, but they're only going to be made in very small batches. I think the initial batch being the first, it's going to be a little bit bigger so we can get one in each one of our stores. We've never done this before.
Right.
So we're playing conservative. We're not making a large amount.
So we hope you love it and you all want to pick up a copy. This would look great on a mantle. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes me want to throw it like a spear too, because it has that certain heft. I was playing it like a flute the other day. It's just there's so many fun things that you could imagine. This thing, baseball bat.
All right.
Self-defense weapon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Keep it by the front door
That's
for intruders.
right.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Right next to the Louisville Slugger and the 9-iron or 5-iron.
All right. Well, thanks, Dan.
Yep.
And then we have another kit dropping this week.
Yes, and we're going to go to Andreas in Norway for a little overview of that thing.
Hey guys, it's Andreas from the European Design Studio in Oslo, and today I have another pre-order to show you. This is the Normandy Pak 40 bunker. This is a D-Day kit because we are coming up on the 80 years since D-Day happened. So let's take a look at it. So this is the Pak 40 bunker. This was featured during D-Day. This is my prototype, so please look at the renders to see how the final one is going to look. I am missing some of the pieces for the grass here, and as well as these curved slopes that are supposed to be going all the way around this to nicely curve off the roof, just like the real thing. So this is a very playable kit. There's a lot of play features to it. One of them is the hole here is just like we have done a bunker before that had this hole. So if you have that one, you can connect them together, or you can build this into your terrain. That is what these were typically done. They were built into hillsides. So I didn't want to add that to the kit because that would add a lot to the cost. You can add that to the build however you want. So let's have a look at some of the features here. These bunkers were actually built, the real ones were built with steel wires going across here. So you can see that this one has some battle damage. It's been hit. So you have this exposed wire inside. Kind of neatly shows off how these bunkers were made in real life. You have the ladder going up. You have thick steel doors, just like the real thing. So you can go up here, or you can go up from the slope here. I think what these slopes were used for is that if you're in a secure position here firing your Pak 40, it's going to be harder to attack from this side. You're not as exposed. So one of the main features here is that you can, of course, remove the roof easily, just like that. You have the opening doors in the back, steel doors. And this is sort of the layout for the bunker. Very accurate to how it was in real life. You have the Pak 40 here. You get 2 Germans, not these ones. These are just placeholders. These actually have a couple of jumper plates, so you can display them nicely right there in position. So this guy is in, he might be firing, and this guy might be the loader. And to load this up, you get a handful of shells in these crates, which will be printed. You have a propaganda poster there, and you have a map of Normandy, as well as either a radio or a telephone. We had this in the last bunker as well, so they will go nicely together. You have a weapons rack with a Kar 98 rifle and a steel helmet there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the features. You can take these Germans out, and let's have a look at the Pak 40 itself. So this is the slightly modified Pak 40, slightly modified from what we had before. So I have the wrong muzzle here, and I also have a bunch of the wrong colors. Sorry, it's a prototype. That's what I had on hand. You get a few of these shells that you can actually put inside here, so you can actually have a loading feature. That's pretty fun, I think. These legs open up, so it is in firing position. You get some printed pieces. You have the printed viewport here, as well as printed wheels. Those look super nice. So this was typically towed behind tractors or heavier vehicles. If you want to do that, you just have to build some sort of hook here. I didn't want to add that here because it's kind of, you don't really need it. You can, these were typically just carried by the couple of Germans that you get to push it inside of here and, you know, take it all the way through like so. And you can widen the legs just like that. And when you have it in firing position, put your Germans in there so that the way the legs work here as well, you can kind of, let me get this, my hand in here, you can kind of swivel the gun in the exact position that you want, just using the legs, turning the legs. So I think that's a pretty cool feature. You have the same rotation as the real kit would, or I mean the real Pak 40s would in these bunkers. So yeah, I think that's it for the kit. And I also want to give you a preview here of an upcoming kit that's coming out next week. Not a pre-order, but this is the Flak 38. So if you want to get that next week, and you can put it on the roof and you can defend from the air, just like some of these bunkers would have flat cannons on top of their bunkers. So yeah, I think that's kind of neat. That is a preview for next week's kit dropping. And there you have it. That is the Pak 40 bunker kit. It's a pre-order, so get on it if you want to get it. Nice display piece. I hope you guys will enjoy it. I certainly enjoyed making it, so thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Andreas, and I'm sure you covered it, but remember that is a limited edition kit, so make sure you get your orders in by Sunday to be guaranteed a copy. Otherwise, what's left will be just kind of left after that. And if you miss all the way out on that, on release day, it will be heading to the retail stores. So, Amanda, really cool fun fact about this kit. If you put it in your bathtub, it sinks just like a real sub.
Yeah, it's great. Goes straight down,
Straight
bubbles
to
a
the
little
bottom.
bit.
All right, I'm sorry.
The whole like half a foot, like what?
Yeah, just right to the bottom, and then you can glide
If you
it along.
empty your tub just enough, the conning tower will stick out.
There you go. if you picked exactly the right, it'd probably roll around a little bit, but yep, sinks just like the real thing.
Don't put it in the bathtub, folks. Don't do that.
Yeah, you know what, if you've got the ability to take a kit like this and toss it in your bathtub, props to you, and I'd like to know what you do for a living. Let's move on to the newest minifig that we've got.
Yeah.
This is a cool update because the previous Stormtrooper was a very popular figure. Obviously, older artwork, older capabilities. Now this is the new hotness.
The new one. Yep.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
So the old one had the texture printing armor, and so I made a brand new armor to go with that. So that is a 3D printed part that sits over the top of the minifig. There is art underneath. It's just the basic uniform. New gas mask.
Yeah, that looks really good.
World War I gas mask and dark tan, and then a brand new World War I stall helm as well. And this has the armor plate as well. So I know historically they tended to ditch the armor and the armor plate pretty quick, but they look pretty cool with it, so we decided to go with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't imagine running around and jumping in trenches with all of this weight was horribly easy, but at the same time, it's better than probably getting stabbed or shot or.
There's a lot of alternatives that are better than getting shot.
Especially with trench warfare.
Yeah, in the mud. I'm sure those weapons were clean, sanitary, no rats whatsoever.
None. No.
Everyone's
great.
feet were fine. Yeah.
But yeah, so we got some. I made it dirty. Put some UV print on there to make it look like he's been through a bit. And we got this great perfect caliber Mauser, thanks to Slam.
That's awesome.
And and then the classic on the gas mask, that kind of compound eye, going with the glass piece in there, the plastic.
Wow.
What was back then? Glass. So that was a pretty complicated UV print for them to hit, but thanks to Slam and some of his awesomeness and the UV print team and their awesomeness, we made it happen.
It seems to be a pattern in some of that stuff.
Indeed.
Absolutely. So just from a design perspective, when you're dealing with that many custom elements and you've got to integrate armor and a face piece, and I mean, the helmets make sense, and I know you've done a lot of this, so I'm sure you've got some of these measurements down, but how does that process start in making sure that everything, clicks together the way it's supposed to?
So between Camera Guy and I, we have done somewhere around or over 400 unique elements nowadays. So we've definitely kind of we've dialed a lot of it in, but there's always little things to tweak. But I have templates that I've built for a lot of the hats and stuff, and the neck ring and all that, and multiple tests and all that jazz. And then the other thing I was going to show with this is because I wanted to make sure people could take the gas mask off and still have the armor sitting nice and flush. Can also take his armor off and have the gas mask just sitting off the side. So, and vice versa, he can wear the gas mask by itself. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a cool one. It was interesting to kind of research and see what there is a lot of fan art versus historical
I'm sure.
fact
Well,
on
even
this one,
art
just
from the time period itself featured these guys because
Oh,
those
yeah.
gas masks were so terrifying, and the trench maces are, barbaric, and so that's
brick arm trench mace. Speaking of which, so
that's crazy. What an update! What a cool mark of like how far minifigures at Brickmania have come when it comes to the accessories and the printing and the abilities
tech
that
has
has had.
helped a lot.
If you've got the old one and you're picking up this one, I'd love to see a side by side on social media. So make sure you tag us when you post those pictures because that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
just to see that evolution. So all right, well that wraps up the new stuff, the brand new stuff. Anyways, we do have the SDKFZ 124 and the is it Earnhardt?
Earhart. There's no
not
N,
Earhart.
Right?
There's an armored car, a World War I armored car as well. Sorry,
I'm the wrong
Andrea.
person to
He's
ask
probably like,
about this.
come on, man, I built that thing. Just
Yeah,
learn how
I
to
think it's
say
just
it.
Earhart.
2 limited edition kits that will be hitting retail stores. I think there are still some copies online as well. But remember, once those are gone, they are done, but they are ready to ship out the door. So that's awesome. Before we get to the stuff that's coming on Monday, let's talk a little bit about how busy our summer got literally over the past week here.
Just like that? Yeah, super busy. So what we got California anniversary stores
Correct.
coming up.
So Dan and Slam already talked a little bit about Brick Days Omaha this
Yep,
weekend, which I assume that if you're going, you're going. If you're not, you're not.
And you're gonna be
It's
sad.
literally this weekend. But we've got some bigger stuff coming up this summer that we wanted to just talk a little bit about. So like Amanda said, we got California store anniversaries coming up. There's information out there on the blog right now. New Road Store exclusives, fun stuff for those events will be debuting. The same stuff at both locations, so that you don't, if you want in on all the California goodies, you don't have to make the trip like you guys are gonna do in one day from San Diego all the way to San Fran. So yeah, you can just go to one of those. The 20th of April is going to be San Diego. The 21st will be Mare Island. Like I said, more information there online. But we got a full crew rolling out there. It's you're going, Camera Guy, Slam, Dan, and Tracy. And then obviously World War Brick, which is the event that we're going to have here in Minneapolis that first weekend in June. Couple of updates there. So obviously not everybody can make it to World War Brick, which we completely understand. We wanted to open up a more interactive side of that. So now we have an online mock contest.
Very exciting.
Which you can participate in if you're coming or if you're not coming. Either way, totally fine. Chance to win some cool World War Brick prizes. Again, more information available there, worldwarbrick.com. Just check that out. But we'd love to see you guys get building, the rules and all that kind of stuff, who to tag, what to post, is all included in there. So go check that out and get building.
Get building.
Freeze frame, should we jump?
Woo!
No. In addition to that, if you attended World War Brick last year, you know that we were incorporating some historical presentations into World War Brick. There's a desire to bring that back this year, and so we're kind of gauging the interest on that. There is an open opportunity for people who fancy themselves historians or people who are involved with the military modeling community and want to talk about techniques, builds, whatever you want to do. Go ahead and look at the process for submitting to that and get an email out because we'd love to get you in a speaking slot, but obviously depending on the interest, that could fill up really quick. So the sooner you get in, the better your chances are of being able to present at World War Brick. And then obviously we'll discuss more of that there if your talk is selected. So yeah, that's coming up. And then right after that is Brick World Chicago. Yeah, which you're going to be there.
I will be there as as me. I'm going on my own, and then I'll meet folks over at the store. But yeah, it's always a good show. Lots of fun. Come hang out at the store.
Yeah, we always jump the Chicago anniversary thing in with that. So the Road Store will be there with all of the cool exclusive stuff during that weekend. I'm not really sure what the booth situation for Brickmania at Brick World is going to be.
I don't know.
I think that Dan is going to do a display there for sure at least. I don't know if there'll be a booth, but more details there. But either way, the Brickmania team will be there. I think that the European designers will still be in the States for that whole thing too. So a good opportunity if you can't make it to World War Brick. To be able to meet the team and do that whole thing.
Hang out for a bit.
And then finally, well, not finally, but at least getting us up to Brick Fair, before Brick Fair, Virginia.
June is gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be crazy.
Tank Fest 2024, Bovington, UK, the 28th through the 30th of June. We are going to bring pretty much the whole crew over there again. We've got the UK Brick Maniacs as well. We're going to have a big old booth. We're going to be doing micro brick battle. We're going to have a whole bunch of stuff related to British armor and whatnot there. Designers on hand. It's going to be awesome. That event is incredible. Literally, even without us there, it's a once in a lifetime event. And if you add us, it's like can't miss.
I'm excited.
We pull, man. No. But yeah, seriously, if you've got the capabilities or if you're already overseas, get yourself to Tank Fest at one of these years because it is an incredible experience. And there's new stuff every year. If you're familiar with like air shows and stuff, it's pretty much an air show for tanks.
Sweet.
which is very difficult to find and really incredible to watch. So make sure you check that out.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. Okay, so now let's get through a rundown of what's coming back on Monday. Back by popular demand, the Black Ops Edition Huey gunship is returning on restock pre-order. That will be probably the only restock pre-order because if people want to buy more of these, we'll have to leave room on the production schedule. But then ready to ship, we'll have the Kubel wagon. We've got the latest batch of the Tank Museum EZ-8 Sherman Fury, Cold War Navy fighter pilot, which I don't know if that would work with the Thud, but we did just recently release the F-105 Thunder Chief on digital instructions, so maybe that would work. Probably, I don't know. Who knows? I'm speculating. Smart Gunner V2, which is a sweet minifig, goes well with your off-world
With the 3-pack.
dragoons.
Yeah, definitely.
Ukrainian female sniper, that was a pre-order, now getting ready to ship. U.S. Navy SEAL diver, which is still one of my favorite 3D printed elements that you guys
That's
have
a cool
created,
one.
that
Yeah.
breathing apparatus thing.
That was a
Super
fun one.
awesome. And then the modern U.S. Army Armored Artillery Crewman.
Excellent.
That is the rundown for Minifig Monday and the stuff that is ready to ship. Otherwise, I've been talking a lot. So
That's what you do.
it's what I got to do. I got to get the information out there, right? Otherwise, how will people know?
Exactly.
So that'll do it for me. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right.
Have a good
And
one.
scene. Thanks for watching.